Welcome to the HatsOff Podcast, where we talk raw, unfiltered business, education, and advice. I'm your host, Amanda Ray, the CEO of 17 Hats. And today I'm going to talk about something that's, I think, super personal to me, something that we don't talk about a lot, I feel like, anywhere in society, and especially when it comes to solopreneurship. And that topic is post-success. Post-success. We always talk about gearing up to success, right? What does it take to get to success? The hardship, the road. Everybody's success is a little bit different, feels different, is different. But while we talk a lot about the journey towards success, we don't talk about what happens once you reach whatever success that is, or what that does to yourself, what that does to your family, to your children, what that feels like. And so today we're going to talk about this. I came through with this topic because I was talking to a friend the other day. For many of you know, I had breast cancer. I was diagnosed in 2021, and I went through the whole year. I was diagnosed basically in January 2021. I did chemo and 2 surgeries through 2021. And when I was diagnosed, everybody was like, oh, it's just a blip in the timeline, right? Like, after this year, you're going to be able to move on. And it's like nothing ever happened. And at the time, that information, it made me feel great, right? Even though it was so untrue, it made me feel great because I could see it into the tunnel. And I was like, yeah, I can do this for a year, which was fantastic. But the truth is that it wasn't for a year. This was a lifetime. This was a lifestyle change. It was a life change. Nobody ever talked to me about post-cancer. Just like nobody ever talked to me about post-success, whether it's in my small business back in the day a long time ago, or success now. Like that discussion of what happens, how does it change you, how does it grow? And so I thought, man, this is a good podcast. We're going to do this. We're going to have this discussion. So let's dive in. Post-success, what does it look like? Or right there, hitting up right against the wall of success. What does that feel like? So one of the things that I love about solopreneurship and being on the small business journey or any business journey is that you as a person go through so much growth. Like I'm always like, if you really want to get to know yourself, know how much you can handle, know your mental capacity, know your emotional capacity, how well you take feedback, how well you can get through the rough times, own a business, right? It is probably as testing to you as a person as having children, right? And for many, their business becomes their child, right? You raise it, you grow it, you nurture it, all the same, you love it, all the same thing you do with children as well, and pets and whatnot. There's a lot of similarities, not complete, but a lot of similarities. And you learn so much about yourself. And for many people on the small business journey, that means that learning about yourself is growth. You grow in the way your perspective, the way you perceive things and perceive situations. You grow in just your knowledge of society, of people, of how people interact with each other. You grow in understanding the psychology of people, which is huge. A lot of people don't understand this. So there's many, many aspects that you grow other than just growing a business. There is a lot of self-growth that comes with running a business, which when you're in a relationship, if you're in a family, you have friends, you have, everybody that surrounds you. A lot of times what I've heard, I've talked to so many people at conferences about this specific subject as well. So many people come and say, I don't relate with my friends anymore, right? I don't relate with my tribe that I've had around me for years and years. I feel different around them. And usually that's because you have grown as a person. It's not that you're better than them or worse than them. There's no like goods or bads. Everybody's great. You got to love everybody. You got to share love on everybody, but your mindset's different. How you perceive things are different. Your perspective on things are different. And that changes you, and it can change your friend group. It can change your family dynamic. Like I said, I've had lots of conversations about people. I've gone through my own divorce with this topic and a variety of difference. So I'm usually very open to talk about it. But people, like I said, come to me all the time saying, I feel different. I don't feel comfortable around, or I can't engage with the people that I typically engage with, or my spouse is jealous. And I hear this a lot. There's a lot of jealousy in the marriage or the relationship because they're in their 9 to 5 job, right? They go to work, they do the same thing, they come home, they live life at home, right? And it is the same thing over and over again. And as a small business owner, your day is constantly changing. And when you hit that success, people see the life that you're living, and jealousy naturally happens. Frustration naturally happens. Um, that is a very, very normal thing. And you have to learn how to understand it, be empathetic with it, and understand the emotions around it as well. Because when you do hit that level of success, while your business might be doing great and you might have all the financial means possible, your relationships, your marriage, your everything else, there's a possibility that that's suffering, right? Um, so that's one of the big topics post success is going back and looking at all the stuff that you've done because you've been in the rabbit hole just making your business work. Going, how do I do this? How do I reconnect after being so busy in my business? And looking back over my life and talking to, countless other people's on the same journey, it very much so is, having the understanding that you have changed. Your business has changed you, but also having the understanding that that's okay. It's okay that your business has changed you. It's okay that you're not the same person that you were before you started your business. Because one of the things that I hear the most is that people feel guilty or ashamed. I ruined my relationship with my business. My relationship changed because of your business. Yeah, it did. Right? It did. It absolutely did. But that's nothing to be shameful of, and it's nothing to feel guilty about. It is just something that we have to own and make better. Trying to constantly I've seen so many people walk around with so much shame. I walked around with shame with this as well. I've seen so many people walk around with shame with this, and then trying to almost make yourself smaller, right? And make yourself fit in other people's perspective of you, instead of recognizing that you've grown and that you are different and you have changed, and going, okay, how do we navigate that from here? Right? I have changed. What's the path forward? Because there's always a path forward, right? So that is, I think, one of the biggest conversations that you can have with yourself as a small business owner, is to recognize your change, recognize your perspectives. All of it has changed, and say, what's the path forward? Don't belittle yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Don't tell yourself that. Don't make yourself feel guilty. Growth is natural. Growing as a human being, growing as a person, it's one of the best things you can do for yourself, right? And for the people around you as well. So don't shame yourself. Don't make yourself feel guilty. Just own it, have the conversations, and move the path forward. The other item, or kind of mental emotion process that you kind of have to go through too when you reach some sort of success, is not realizing that you did it, right? Is going, oh man, yeah, I did this, but I didn't really do it. It was this person that helped me and that person that helped me and all these other things that pushed me along the way, which is true. Don't get me wrong, you stand on the shoulder of giants, right? There's a lot of stepping stones and a lot of people who have molded people and just things that have molded you to get you where you are. But you were the one that made the conscious choice to be where you're at, to get there. It's a choice to succeed in anything, whether it is learning to play the piano for the first time or, succeeding in school. That's a choice. You make a choice. And you made the choice to succeed, and you've made the choice to do the work and to learn and educate yourself. And you made that choice, and you need to recognize that in yourself. And very few people will recognize it in you, right? You'll have a lot of naysayers. It's one of the hard things about owning a small business is that there are so many naysayers out there that think that you just got there because of X, Y, and Z. And it's frustrating. It can be very frustrating. And you're like, damn it, no, I got here because I worked hard. And many people don't understand the small business journey or what you have to go through emotionally, mentally, all of it, right? All of it. And so nobody will fully understand that. And so a lot of people will project onto you their thoughts on, oh, you just made it because of so-and-so that was there to help you, or so-and-so that did that, or because I've even seen this with spouses, because you made it because I did X, Y, and Z for you. No, you had help. You were shaped, you were molded, you were crafted as a person. That is what life is. Our job, I fully believe that our job in life is to help mold and shape each other, right? So that we can help each other bring out the very best that every single one of us has to offer. But at the end of the day, it was your choice. It was your hard work. And a lot of people will, once they reach success, they'll just say, oh, it wasn't me. It was something else. Own it. Be confident in it. Let yourself, bask in that glory a little bit, right? Don't constantly put yourself down. I see people do it all the time. Let yourself revel in it a little bit of, damn, I did this. I am a badass, right? That is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. It doesn't mean not acknowledging the people that helped you. Absolutely, you have to. But let yourself own what you have done and know that you can do it again, right? A lot of people, this is where imposter syndrome comes to play. Oh, I didn't really do that. It was just happy chance, happy stance. Everything fell in line, blah, blah, blah. You got to get that out of your head. You did it once, you can do it again, and you can do it over and over again. It is all a mental choice to do. So with success comes these pressures. It comes these, what did I do? Maybe you didn't spend enough time with your children. So there's guilt there as well. But you have to look at it always. Yes, maybe you didn't spend the time with your children that you wanted to. And believe me, I love my children and I spend as much time with them as possible. But because I'm a working mom, my daughter, she's exposed to so much and she sees so much. And she's taught so many lessons, right? If I wasn't doing what I'm doing, she would be missing out on so much. And so sometimes you have to look at it from that way as well. Your children get a different side of you. Maybe it's not the side that society tells us they should get, or, as much as what you would want to be there, but they get a whole different side of you that they can love and experience and learn from. So you can't beat yourself up about being guilty with anything that's happened with your kids or missing out. Again, it's just recognizing it, understanding the pros, understanding the cons as well, and making the decisions going forward. Success is one of those things that doesn't come without its issues. And a lot of it is our own issues, our own mental struggles, right? So if you're there, or if you're close to there, or if you are struggling emotionally about balance of business and life and how does it all work and how can you put it all together, I think the best thing that you can do for yourself, for your relationships, for the people around you is to be honest. One of the things that we do is we try to conform or comply with the people's requests in our relationships of, I need you home more. Okay, I'll be home more next week. And then we're not home, right? And then our relationship goes down even more. Or, we try to conform, we try to comply, but we don't hold those up, right? We keep missing those requests because we're not honest with ourselves. We say, yes, we're going to do it, knowing deep inside that that's going to be tough. That's going to be hard with everything going on. And so if you are in the struggle, the best thing you can do is sit down with whoever in your relationship and just be honest. This is what I'm want to do over the next 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days. This is my goal. This is the goal for me. This is the goal for the business. And this is the goal for us. When you are racing to the finish line, when you are doing so much in life, the people around you can feel left out. And that is where the jealousy comes. That's where the frustration comes. That's where the arguments come. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have come over and joined 17 Hats, like the platform, the software, because of the automation. And their testimonial back to us is, you literally saved our marriage, right? Without 17 Hats, we would have been done, because we're constantly racing to the finish line, right? As a small business owner. We're constantly we constantly can't get a hold of all the shit in front of us that we have to do. So by looking at all of it and saying, this is my goal for me, this is my goal for my business, this is the goal for us, this is the goal for the family, and take account into all of those goals, all of those different perspectives. That is something that the more successful you get in your business, the more important it becomes for you to do, right? Taking into consideration all of it. So I hope this short little, slightly emotional, hopefully hard hitting, makes you think a little bit episode allows you to, one, feel comfortable in your skin. If you're running the race and you're hitting that success and you're seeing kind of all of the relationships around you fall apart or get hard, I hope this gives you some direction. One of my very favorite shows that I love so much is The Devil Wears Prada. Anybody there with me on that one? But there's a quote when Anne Hathaway's in the park with the director, and she's like texting the boyfriend, I forgot his name, and she mentions something about like her relationship falling apart, her relationship on a fine line or something. And he said, well, tell me when your relationship implodes, because at that point you need a raise. Right. And so it really did talk to, in their world, right? Work is work 24/7 and relationships are on the back burner. And it's hard. It's hard to balance it. And it's hard for solopreneurs to balance it as well. But there is a balance, and you do have to figure that out. But I think the first step always is owning where you're at, owning where you're going, having the tough conversations, being very honest with where you're at mentally with things, and figuring out the path forward, setting the goals for all places. So I hope that helps. Thanks for joining me today. And I will speak with you all again next week.